Hi guys, so today I'm going to be reviewing the Stila Matte and Metal Eyeshadow Palette. This was released about 6 months ago and I haven't heard too much about this palette in the beauty community, but I've had my eye on it for a while. I thought it looked really beautiful in store, so I thought I'd pick it up and see how it performs. So I picked this up from Mecca and it retails for $71. That's quite a high price, but you do get a lot of product in here. The packaging looks like this. This is what the palette looks like. So you have 12 shades in total. 6 of them are matte and the remaining 6 are metallic. So this shade here is Vintage, and that's a matte pale pink. Then we have Velvet, and this is a darker, slightly darker matte pink. Then we have Feathered, and this is a matte beige, the slightly yellow undertone in there. Then you have Fringe, and this is a matte light taupe. This would be a beautiful transition colour, but it's just that tad bit too light. If it was a little bit darker, it would work a lot better as a transition shade or in the crease. Then you have Suede, and this is a matte mauve. Then the last matte shade is Velour, and this is a tan colour, and this works really well. So now I'm going to go in with the metallic shades. So the first one here is Bohemian, and this is a metallic platinum with silver glitter. As you can see, the metals swatch absolutely beautifully. Then the second one is Retro, and this is probably one of my favorite shades in the palette. It's a rose gold, and that's beautiful. Then we have Sequin, which again, another one of my favorites. This is a metallic gold. Then we go to the darker colors. This is Smolder. This is a metallic pewter gunmetal type shade. And this one doesn't swatch nearly as well as the other ones, as you can see, unfortunately. Then we have Sizzle, and this is beautiful as well. I'm wearing this one today. This is a metallic rose, dark rose copper shade. And that one packs a punch on the swatch. Shows up really beautifully. And then the last shade, which is particularly creamy, is a Flare, and this is a metallic bronze. So you get 12 grams of product in this palette, so that's 1 gram each. So they're quite large pans in comparison to some other brands. So the formula of these mattes is a little bit drier than the shadows that you would find in a Too Faced or a Tarte palette. They're quite pigmented, but they do feel a little bit dry and chalky when you apply them to the skin. The formula of the metallic shades is a little bit creamier than the mattes, which is not uncommon in an eyeshadow palette. And they do swatch really beautifully on the skin. They do come up a lot more pigmented than when you go in with an eyeshadow brush and apply them on the eye. You have to work really, really, really hard with these shadows to get any sort of payoff and pigmentation. So the first thing about this product that I didn't really like was the packaging. It does have a beautiful hard gold plastic, but I'm really not that crazy about the design on the front. I just thought it could be maybe a little bit more simple. If it was all just this metallic gold color, I think that would have been a lot nicer in my opinion. So it has a very large mirror, which is fantastic. I love a good large mirror in a palette. One thing I do like about the packaging is it's very compact. The space is utilized really well. There's not a whole lot of extra space, and it is very solid. So you can take this traveling and you won't have to worry about any of the shadows being broken, which is great. I also really like the layout of the palette. So you have 3 rows of 4 different shadows, and they're divided up into 3 different looks. You can mix and match with the colors in this palette, but I do like how they're split up into 3 different columns so you know which shadows go best together. When I first saw this palette, it reminded me a lot of the Tarte Linen Bloom, which is probably my #1 all-time favorite eyeshadow palette. They do have very similar shades and a mix of the matte and the metallic. So I'll go ahead and show you guys the Tartelette in Bloom palette. As you can see, I've hit pan on 1, 2, 3 of the colours. This one broke, but it is a very, very, very well used palette. And I'll do a side-by-side comparison here. As you can see, they do have very similar shades and a similar layout as well. So if I was to compare these two palettes, I would say that the Tartelette in Bloom is far better. The texture of the shadows are far creamier. They have a really soft, nice texture, especially the mattes. They're not dry or chalky, and they're very highly pigmented. The metallics are also a lot creamier and richer. They're highly pigmented. I also feel like this palette has a little bit more versatility, especially with the transition shades. They're a little bit darker. So like the matte and metal palette, it is divided into 3 different rows so you can see which colors work together best to create a look, but you can mix and match these a lot better, I find, than the colors in the matte and metal palette. So if I had to choose between the two, I would definitely go with the Tartelette in Bloom. Overall, it's just a much better palette and the shadows perform really well. Tarte have one of my favorite formulas. They're so beautiful and creamy and rich and highly pigmented, and they last all day. So I would definitely recommend that you pick this one up instead. I do really love Stila as a brand, especially their liquid lipsticks. They're gorgeous, but this eyeshadow palette just isn't what I expected it to be. Unfortunately, I was quite disappointed with this palette. It does have some really, really beautiful colors in there. It just doesn't perform nearly as well as most other palettes that I have tried. So I would definitely recommend that you give this one a miss and instead maybe pick up the Too Faced chocolate palette or the Tartelette in Bloom. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video and did find it useful. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I love you. Bye.